So are there any more questions that you would have for me related to my candidacy?
Well, I have one. You know, I don't like to ask two questions at a time because it sounds like you're dominating the thing. So anyway, do you know what the systems development charges are that the county now charges? And do you think they need to go up? Or do you know even what they are?
I honestly have to say I don't know what the current charges are. If you were to ask me on a sheet of paper, I don't know what the current charges are. How I would approach that situation is I would look at how do we compare to similar counties as far as what they might charge, and look at what is the impact on the budget and what is the, actually now that you asked that question, I'm glad you did, because I really want us to look at how much does growth cost. Well, so much of the times we talk about how much growth brings in as far as jobs, but do we really talk about how much growth costs as far as, when we're talking residential, to our schools and to our water? You know, we tend to get focused on looking at the positive of the growth and not looking at what it's going to cost. I see a bunch of hands throwing up now, so let me just, I have a little bit further to go on that answer. Silverton has grown like crazy, and our roads are not adequate for the amount of development we have, and there is a minority. That's because they keep trying to pass more ballot measures or, you know, expansion efforts that keep getting denied. But there's a minority that keeps asking for us to do more, to add on more without building any infrastructure to address those needs. And that would definitely be something I would be very much focused on, is you're going to throw up this growth, but what are you going to do about the traffic issues, the water issues? Because I've seen firsthand what it has done to Silverton.
Systems development charges in the county and in the city are insufficient to pay the costs of electrical, water, sewer, all of the things that go to a community. Developers will tell you that they need to keep the systems development charges low to keep the cost of houses down for new home buyers, first-time home buyers. What they don't tell you is that first-time home buyers never buy new homes. They buy existing homes for which the systems development charges have already been paid.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
And the fact of the matter is that any attempt to raise systems development charge is going to run into huge and very well-funded campaigns to stop them, based on that premise that you'll be pricing first-time home buyers out of the market by increasing systems development charges. It's bogus.
Then they're not building affordable homes.
I'm part of a family farm that's been in existence just outside of Woodruff for 95 years. And so I really am happy to hear your opinion on protecting prime farmland, because, you know, even if a field is in grass seed now, it's probably going to be raising food for another generation. And we can't just use up the land. But one thing that I haven't heard you make a comment on that I'm extremely worried about is using private land for private developers, which is what this natural gas pipeline that are scheduled to come across our farms is doing. And the gas, the liquefied natural gas, is basically going to California. And I am just thinking our county needs to join Clackamas County in opposing what's happening.
Yeah, I've actually looked at the issue that you've talked about, and I know that, you know, there are opportunities that might cost more, but there are opportunities to take gas lines different directions that doesn't take it through farmland. And so I am opposed to that expansion. I'm familiar with it, and they need to find an alternate route. It might cost them more, but alternate routes are available.
Well, another thing is this is the same kind of case where they talk about jobs created, but they don't talk about the destruction that's happening. You know, and it isn't just jobs created for putting in the pipeline. It's also farms that the drainage tile and the crops you can graze, and when you can use your backhoe, and you know, and that is to infinity. And the swath is enormous. You know, a clear-cut swath.
Right. I'm like I said, I'm very familiar with that, and we're creating short-term jobs for our local community and having long-term impacts on what we're going to have as far as agricultural land
It'd be 60 jobs.
60 jobs for the next year.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting close to my time limit on the room, but do I have more questions for me in regards to my candidacy?
It would just be fabulous if we could replace Patty Milne with Jason Freilinger.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm hoping to end on that note because that was a very good note. So thank you. For those of you who aren't familiar with the charter, just so you guys know, I am running against her no matter what. So if the charter passes, I'm running against her in District 4. If the charter doesn't pass, I'm running against her for position 1. Either way, I'm running against Patty.